All right, everybody. So here is a 101 on HubSpot. We're not going to go over everything, but we're going to go over the gist of it. So here's how you create a contact. You're going to start by putting in the email address of your recruit, and this will tell you if they're already created. If for some reason they're already created, a little box will pop up here and it will say duplicate contact. They're already in the system. If you can click it and it opens, then you have access to it. If it has the little circle with the line symbol, then you do not have access to it. You need to contact Danielle.
Via email.
Thank you, Brianna. Yes, via email, and have the contact person's name and email address and where you got them from, and she will take care of it. If you have technical issues with HubSpot, you go straight to Eric. Don't go to Danielle. Only go to Danielle when you see a duplicate contact issue.
Yep.
Okay. So obviously, I'm just creating a fake one on myself for right now, just for training purposes. It is very important, especially if you're getting somebody who's licensed, that you have their city and state. So that way, and I know it doesn't say state here, but when you actually finish this and you create the contact, you'll put the state in over there, and I'll show you that in a second. And I honestly don't worry about this stuff. You can if you want to. Like for everyone who's doing Zip, etc., you guys can put in here they're a ZipRecruiter lead, that they're brand new. You've called them once, whatever it may be. You guys can fill that out if you want to. You're gonna hit create contact, and then obviously the majority of it's done. But you're gonna come over here, and I'm gonna put in that I'm in Illinois. If you have multiple admins or a separate recruiter, etc., you guys can figure out who you want to have what title. That's up to your discretion. So now your contact is created. I always recommend heavily notating everything that you've done with this contact. So since you're just brand newly creating this person, you could put in here, just talk to on the phone. If I could not type backwards, that would be fantastic. And set up second interview for 1/22 at noon.
Yep.
And you put that in, so that way you're documenting everything. That's very, very crucial. You want to put notes for everything. You want to make sure people are emailing you things, any type of requests, instead of calling and texting you, because you want to have documentation. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to create a deal. I always take out the words new deal just because I do. You guys do it however you want. The name of the deal is the person. You're going to put them in recruiting, and then your deal stage is whatever you're at. So qualifying is you just got the person's info and you probably haven't even talked to them yet. Interview set, self-explanatory. Offer made, self-explanatory. I think kind of the rest of them are. But licensing is obviously anybody who is in the course. You're just putting in the course. Once they finish the course, I don't move them to contracting until they call me and tell me I got my license.
Right. Yep.
Then I move them to contracting. So I'm going to put myself in contracting. I'm going to hit create. And then what I do with my recruiter is she's the deal owner of every recruit that is from qualifying to licensing. And then once that person tells her, okay, I got my license, she goes into the deal and she changes it to me. And then I get notified immediately, Lucy made you the deal owner of blank. So then I know I need to do my job. I get them the contracting link. I get them prosperity. I get them the CRM. I do all of that stuff. It just helps us really keep organized who's in control of who.
Yep. And then as far as the name of the deal, depending on how many people you have in your downline, it can be helpful. I know Himadi does it this way, where you, instead of taking out new deal, you just replace it with their upline's name or the hierarchy's name.
What I do though, so it doesn't cloud your thing, is I actually fill this part out.
Me too.
So for example, say if I was joining my own team right now, which obviously I'm already on, I would make this my upline's, name or whatever.
Right.
And then I'd put my contract level, whatever it is. And then here is where I keep track under hierarchy. I keep track of that. So say, Brianna, say, you're my agent that I'm admitting for, right?
Right.
And your downline, Samantha, right? Just got this person. Okay.
Yep.
This isn't me. This is Samantha's new recruit, right? Well, then I would put, because Samantha's under you, I would put Brianna, and then obviously put your last name. And then in parentheses, I would put Samantha, whatever her name is. So then I know, okay, Shelly belongs to Brianna's team, and she's under Samantha.
Perfect.
But again, you guys do it however it works for you. But these are things that need to be done so that way you guys are keeping thorough track of who is who.
Yep.
Another important thing that I kind of did forget under contacts, please make sure everybody's getting full legal names, including the full middle name. For now, since right here, there's no spot for middle name, we're just putting it here. And this is really because we're getting a lot of common names. Obviously Smiths, Johnsons, etc. We need to be able to keep track of who is who and who's with who. Believe it or not, that's been an issue. So please make sure you're getting that. Brianna, did I miss anything?
Nope, I don't think so. You show them where you can go put the state in down at the bottom on the left side.
Oh yeah. So right here, put the state right here under city.
You might already show them.
I know some people, when they're initially filling out the contact, if you want to, on that first page, you can literally just put right here and then move it once it creates the contact. I don't do that, but you can, so you don't forget. Totally up to you, whatever you want to do. I know another resource a lot of people didn't know about is tasks.
Yep.
There's a couple different ways you can do tasks. One is you click more, task, and say, you're putting this person through the licensing course, right? And you need to follow up in a week. So you just put them in today. So you go here, bam, you need to follow up in a week. Follow up on course. Like how I spell? Follow up on course. And then you save the task. The other way you can do it is if you send somebody an email and you're like, okay, you're, following up on the status of the course so far. Because I like to follow up with people that way through email. So I have documentation that I've followed up every week. I will then click this, boom, follow up again in another week, and I'm done. Yep. Like it's that way you're not having extra steps of now having to go into a calendar and type in, oh, okay, now I got to meet with this person next week or, whatever.
Yep.
So when you go to sales, just hit tasks and it'll have all of your tasks, the ones that are due the day that you're in it, the ones that are overdue, anything you have upcoming, they're all organized for you. You can also link your HubSpot to Slack. So Slack will also remind you as well of any tasks that you have for the day. So it's kind of a nice little double reminder. If maybe you don't spend a lot of time in HubSpot and you do in Slack, you're going to get your reminders no matter what. So the deals that you guys make, you're going to go to sales, you're going to go to deals after you've already created it, obviously. You want to make sure that the spot next to deals right here says recruiting and that you are clicking my deals. So that way you see your stuff. You don't see everyone's stuff that you're linked to, unless you want to see all that. That's totally up to you. So like I said, my rows here are empty because this is my recruiter. I don't really need to see any of these people until they're ready to be over here. And so this is where all your deals go. So if you want to, like, say, for example, if I wanted to change Christopher to Academy, you can do it one of two ways. You can just click in the white right here, go right here, bam, change it, boom, he's being moved to Academy. That's one way. And this also obviously gives you a little shortcut into the deal, you know, so I know who his hierarchy is. I know what team he's on. I can see, you know, there's his contact. It's a really nice little shortcut.
Yeah.
Or you can actually open the deal if you need to, for whatever reason, and you can do the same thing right here, change it same way. Another good thing that you guys need to know, if you end up with multiple contacts, like say you get a recruit and they're already in here, and you need to merge them, you just click where it says actions, click merge, and then you're going to find the name of the duplicate, the same name or whatever the name is. Because we did run into a thing where the person trying to add them had one name, and the name they were under in HubSpot was a different name, but it's the same person. Yep. So you find whatever the name is and you put it in and then just hit merge. Give it a minute or two for the system and it'll all load it in and it merges the whole thing together.
About that, if you are merging multiple contacts and you do a lot of emailing through HubSpot, you want to make sure that you are on the contact that has the primary email address whenever you're hitting merge. Otherwise, it'll change your primary email or their primary email it sends it to. So you have to be really aware of that.
Exactly. And you guys can figure that out here. If you don't know which one's primary, which one's not, if you actually, you know what, let me open a contact that has multiple emails. Let me go up here. So I'll just open my own so you guys can see. So I've got a couple emails, obviously. Oops, hold on. I clicked the wrong thing. So you want to click the little, here we go. So see how it's got, I can make primary, I can make primary. This is the primary. So whichever one that does not say make primary is the primary. So you can, you know, switch it back and forth. I don't recommend having multiple emails in a contact unless for whatever reason the person is adamant about using 2 email addresses. It just gets messy. But again, totally up to everyone's discretion on what they want to do. You can see all the emails. You can see when people have opened them, how many times they've opened them. So that's really the purpose on why we create all this to begin with. So the most important part about the email, though, is you guys have got to make sure that you follow the steps in HubSpot, either when you first created your HubSpot, or if you're going to start really using it now and you've already created your HubSpot, that you go to settings and you come here on the left-hand side and you go to integrations and you go to the email integrations and you make sure that it says that your email address is enabled. Very, very important, or it's not going to log and track your emails. You also want to make sure that you're only doing this in a Chrome browser, not Safari, not Firefox, not Internet Explorer, not whatever the 5,000 other browsers that there are, that you're doing it in Chrome. And you want to make sure that you have the Chrome extension installed. I do have it installed. I don't know why it says install, but mine is installed, which we're going to show you now. So you're going to go to, well, real quick, another thing you can see is make sure, you know, here's your logging and tracking info. So if like you put anybody on the list that you don't want logged or tracked, it's on here. So you're going to go to your email. Always have 2 separate tabs open, one for HubSpot and one for your email. You know that you're linked when you see this little orange circle, and it has to be orange. If it's gray, it means you're logged out of HubSpot, which means nothing will be logged or tracked. So if that happens, none of this will be here. It will actually have you physically log in right here. So here are all your shortcuts that you guys have. And this is how you make sure that you're logging and tracking. So when you click up here, click logging and tracking, and it's right there. Log is on, track is on, new contacts, companies, deals, you know, whatever. And then again, you can add people to here, but you don't have to physically do it. When you send somebody an email in here and you unclick log or track, most of the time it pops up and says, do you want to put them on the never log or track? And you can just hit yes, which is pretty super cool. And that's the real reason we're trying to really get all you guys to use this setup and system, because this is going to make you guys so proficient, and it's going to make your job so much easier, like so much easier. Another really cool thing about having your email linked is you're going to have this little section here, and it's a quick access to HubSpot. So when you open that, here's all your contacts. You can look at any tasks. You can open up someone, which let me actually find somebody that I own to open. Let's see if I find myself. There we go. So here's one of mine. This is the one I just created. So here's my little shortcut, you know, my little info. This is really helpful, especially to you guys, if you want to send like a mass email to somebody and for whatever reason, you're not see how I like auto populated for one of my email addresses. If you're not auto populating, then you don't have to keep going back and forth, back and forth. You can just type in people's names right here in the search. Like for example, Brianna, I'll look for you. Bam. I have Brianna's email. I just type it in. Again, so much more efficient. All right, Brianna, what did I miss?
One thing to note in the email, the little side tab thing for HubSpot is that you cannot take notes in there. You can't log calls as far as I know. You need to still have the HubSpot tab open so that you can go back and put it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what I have trained myself to do is the second I send somebody an email, for whatever reason it is, like say somebody messaged me and was like, you know, I need contracting for so-and-so for a couple carriers that aren't insurance bay. And I'm like, okay, so I'll send the email to who I need to send it to get that person those contracts. But then I'll come back into that contact, even though, you know, because obviously the email that I send to corporate to get those contracts, that's not going to be in here in that person's contact, right? So I'm going to want to put a note in there, and I'm going to say, you know, sent contracting or whatever it is, you know, for so-and-so, and I'll put the carriers, like I'll put Aetna, like whatever it is, and then I hit save. And then I know if they come back to me or their upline comes back to me and says, oh, so-and-so still doesn't have it, I can go right to that person's name. I can look at the day I sent it. Then I can go back to who I need to and be like, hey, I sent this in on blah, 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 blah. Can you look into it for me?
Yep.
All very organized.
The only other thing that I can think of is that, yes, you absolutely want to make sure people are emailing you as much as humanly possible. Occasionally people will still call you. You can log that, and you should log it in HubSpot. And there's a calls tab actually.
Yep. Here, I'll show you.
Yeah. So you can take
and
notes.
guys, don't be afraid to tell people, can you please email me this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a brief conversation with them on the phone. That's no problem. But don't, you know, feel like you can't be like, you know, can you just, you know, real quick when we hang up, can you just email me this request?
Yeah.
But yeah, you can absolutely make a phone call. It will log it.
Okay, phone call from inside.
What?
You can make a phone call from inside there, or that log call button to the left. That's how I keep track of. I'm currently transitioning people from calls to emailing. So I'll log the call. You can log exactly what time the call was at, if they picked up, if it was a voicemail, and you can create a task to follow up from there, just like you can with the email tab. So.
And see, I was kind of shortcutting it. Instead of doing this, I was just going in the notes.
Right. Yeah.
I would just put a note. So-and-so called me today at blah, blah, blah. This is what we discussed. Goodbye. Or I would put in so-and-so text me, you know, blah, 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 done. But yeah, and again, guys, do this whatever way, whatever order you guys are comfortable with. But these are key points that you guys need to touch on every single recruit, especially if they're licensed. Because if you're going to your admin or you know, the uplines are coming to you to get contracting for downlines, etc. Whoever is doing the contracting needs all of this information.
Yep.
All right, we got anything else, or did we touch everything? Pretty sure we touched everything.
I think that's it.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, guys. So that's all for HubSpot 101 for now. If you guys have any questions that we did not answer, please message us in Slack. Don't message us directly. Message us in the FFL assistance group.
Yep.
And me, Brianna, Danielle, or Savannah will definitely answer. And then we'll get it added if it's very pertinent to whatever next video we do.
Yep. All right. Bye, guys.